Hello, my name is Eduardo Suarez. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a KAREL program in RoboGuide. This is going to be a very basic introduction to KAREL programming, and the topics I'm going to cover are how to create a program source code file, how to translate the program file, and finally, how to execute and debug the program. First thing first, you're going to need the KAREL reference manual. We're going to open the internet browser and we're going to go to myportal.fanucamerica.com. On this page, it's going to prompt you to create an account. If you already have an account, you can just sign in. The next page, we're going to select eDocs. And from here, we're going to select robot and we're going to select software. Now we're going to type KAREL reference and we're going to do a search. And it's going to show you all the manuals that are available. The manual we're looking for is this one in here, but the time of the recording of this video, the version M is the latest revision. So from here, you can just download the manual. Now, we're going to start by creating a work cell. I have RoboGuide open. We're going to go to File, New Cell, and we're going to select Handle Pro. We're going to call it KAREL. Hello. Next. And we're just going to go through the normal procedure, selecting all the default options that are available until we get to this page where we can select the options. And we're going to select KAREL. And from here, we're going to select the option for KAREL R632. From here, you just click on Next and Finish. And I'm going to pause the video until the work cell is created. Once the work cell has been created, we're going to go to the cell browser and you're going to find a folder called Files. We're going to select that. We're going to right click and from the drop-down list, we're going to select New File and KAREL Source. And the KAREL editor is going to open, and by default, the name is going to be entitled1.kl. We're going to rename this file. We're going to select Save As, and it's going to show us the path inside the project folder with the name of the KAREL program that we want to create. I'm going to show you here what happens if just select the name without the extension. By default, it's not adding the extension KL, so be careful with that. So if we just save this, it's going to create a new program, but this is not a KAREL program. So if you try to build this program, it's going to give you a fault. So we're going to delete that and we're going to start again. We're going to select New File, KAREL Source, Save As, and this time we are going to save it as hello with extension .kl. And this time this is going to be a KAREL file. Before we start writing our first program, I'm going to jump ahead and I'm going to show you the last final version of the program we're going to create today. And I'm going to take a moment to explain you how the KAREL program is structured. The KAREL program is made up of declaration and executable statements stored in a source code file So this hello.kl is our source code file that later is going to be translated into another file that's called pcode file with extension .pc. That pcode file can be loaded into the robot controller and run as a KAREL program. The KAREL program is structured in two sections, the declaration section and the executable section. The declaration section includes the program data, and the executable section includes the program logic. The reason that the program data is separated from the program logic is because the data can be referenced from several places in the same program, and also allows more than one program to reference or share the same data. What you see here in capital letter are reserved words. That means that can only be used for KAREL statements and cannot be used for any other purposes, such as to name terms or variables. As you can see in this example, when we start editing the KAREL program, the first line of the program is going to start with the word program, followed by the space, and followed by a program identifier. The program identifier is the name of the program, and the KAREL program is going to end with the word end followed by the same program identifier. The program identifier is a name of your choice, and it must be unique and cannot be used for any other purposes, such as to define variable names. Similar to the rules for naming programs in the teach pendant, it must start with a letter, it can contain numbers, and the only special character that can be used is the underscore, as shown in here in this example. In terms of the name or the length of the name, it can be up to 12 characters long in the R30IB controller and up to 36 characters long in the R30IB Plus controller. You can notice here that the program identifier doesn't necessarily have to be the same as the same of the file that contains the program. As is shown here, the hello.kl contains the source code file, and the name of the KAREL program is hello_v5. As I'm going to show you later, when we build the program, just by clicking here on this icon, the translator is going to use the name of the file that is referenced here to create a pcode file, but the pcode file is going to have the name of the program. In this way, when you execute the program in the controller, you're going to use the name of the program. The KAREL program is going to be break down in several sections as that follow specific rules. After the program declaration, we're going to have another section that includes the translator directives. The translator directives are optional, and you should only use the translator directives that are required in your program. As the name implies, translator directives provide the KAREL translator with a list of program characteristics. The next section is going to be the variable declaration. The declaration section of the KAREL program starts with a reserved word var, and you can have any number of variable declaration sections. Variables define or declare before the use in the program, and the way that you declare the variables is by an identifier. That's the name of the variable, followed by the colon, and followed by the variable type. After the variable declaration section, you can declare the routines if you have any routines in your program. The routines are very similar in structure to the KAREL program, and they used to break down the KAREL program in a more structured way. Routines start with the word routine and ends with the word end, and also it uses the routine identifier, that's the name of the routine. Inside the routine, we're going to have the variable declaration section for the routine and the executed section that is contained between the word begin and end. And finally, after the routine, we have the executed section of the KAREL program that is also enclosed between the words begin and end. Also, as you can see here, we can have any number of comments in your program. Comments are created by using two consecutive hyphen characters, and anything that is to the right of the hyphen characters will be ignored by the program. This we have covered basically all that is required for the structure of the KAREL program. We're going to delete this version of the program for now, and we're going to start writing our first program. This version of the program is very simple. It's called hello. Doesn't have any variable declaration, and the only thing that we have on the executed section is the write statement that when we run the program, it's going to show the word hello in the teach pendant. You can see here that the program can be created in any word editor. In this case, I have already the program in Microsoft Word, and just I can copy and paste the program into the KAREL editor. We're going to build this program by clicking on the build icon here, and you can see that a new pop-up window show up with the result of the translation. In this case, the translation was successful, and immediately you can see that in the word cell we have under the file folder a new file that's called hello with extension PC. If you want to see what happened when we have an error, I'm going to change the program identifier at the end of the program, and we're going to build it again. This time, you're going to see that the build failed, and it's going to tell you what the problem is. Now that we have the program created, we can just run it on the teach pendant. We're going to open the teach pendant, and we're going to bring it over here. I'm going to change the screens to 2, and we're going to press select, and we're going to look for the KAREL program that's called hello. We're going to select the program, we're going to press the shift key, and we're going to press the forward key. You can think that nothing happened, but actually the program was executed. What we need to do, we need to go new, we need to select user to open the user screen, and you can see here that the word hello was written. If we run the program again, it just keep writing the word hello. So far, that was our first version of the program. We're going to start building upon this version. Now, we're going to create another version, and in this case, I'm going to call it hello underscore v1. You can see here that I'm creating a new variable string on the variable declaration section. Especially for strings, we need to declare how long the string is going to be by putting in square brackets the maximum number of characters. On the executable section, I added more KAREL statements. The first line is going to clear the screen and it's going to home the cursor. The second line is going to force the user screen, so we don't need to manually open it up. Then it's going to ask for a name, and then it's going to write the word hello, followed by the name that was introduced. So now we're going to delete this part, and we're going to run the executable, so the build, and the translation was successful. So we're going to open up the each pendant. We're going to go to select, and we're going to look for our new version of the KAREL program. We're going to press Shift, forgot selected. We're going to run this version, and now it's asking for a name. We're going to select here, we're going to enable the keyboard, and we're going to just introduce a name. And it's going to write hello, and the name we just enter. So far so good. Now we're going to keep adding more features to our KAREL program. We're going to define a new integer variable in our variable declaration section. And on the executable section, after the read statement for the name, we're going to use the statement string length to get the length of the string. Then we're going to set the cursor on the user screen to row number 3, column number 1. And then for debugging purposes, we're going to write the length of the string. Then we're going to use a conditional statement with an if and if conditional branching to give two different greetings depending on the name. We're going to build this program. Translation was successful. We're going to select the program, and we're going to run it. We're going to enter the name, and we get in here the string length, that is 4 characters. And we get the greeting, hello, and the name. We're going to run the program again, and this time we're going to just press the enter key without typing any characters. And in this case, we get 0 characters. That means we are going on the second branch on the conditional statement, and we just write the statement hello. Here, because I am in RoboGuide, I can cheat and I can enable the keyboard from my laptop. But if you are running this program in a robot controller, you wouldn't have access to any keyboard to enter the name. So in our next version, we're going to add a keyboard control. Notice here that I commented out the read statement for the name, and instead I added a new statement that is a display and control alphanumeric statement. This statement needs a few parameters. That's going to be the screen name, the row position, the column position, the string name, and the termination for the string. That's going to be the enter key. We're going to select the new program, and we're going to run it. So you can notice now that we have a control for the entry of the name. We're going to select here options, we're going to select the keyboard, and now we have the keyboard similar to the one we have normally in the robot controller. And the result is the same as shown in our previous version. Now we're going to force the user to enter a name. We're going to make a few changes. We're going to delete the conditional branch if and if, and instead we're going to replace it with a repeat and until statements. Notice that most of our code will be enclosed between the words repeat and until. We're going to run our new program, and this time if I try just to press the exit key, it just keeps asking for the name. In our final version, we're going to break down the program and write it in a more structured way. In this version, I have created a routine that handles a section where we ask for the name. Notice that the name of the routine is getName and has a declaration and executable section. On the declaration section, we just need to define the variables that are going to be used in the routine, and in the executable section, I just move all the statements relating to entering the name. This routine doesn't have any input parameters, but it has an output parameter. The way that you define an output parameter is by a colon character after the routine identifier, followed by the variable type. Notice here that, different from when we declare a string variable, we don't need to specify the length of the string. On the executable section of the KAREL program, we just need to call the routine and assign the output parameter to the string name variable. We're going to select the program and we're going to write it. Notice that in this case, I formatted the output of the write statement as shown in this case. Now that we have the program selected on the teach pendant, I want to show you what happens if we try to build the program again. Notice that I haven't made any changes to the current program, but when we try to build it again, it shows that the transaction was successful, but the build failed and there is no further description why this happened. What we need to abort the program that we're running and select another program on the teach pendant. And then try to build again. And you notice that this time it will work. Before I conclude with the presentation of this video, I want to summarize all the things that we have covered. I started by giving you a brief description of the KAREL program structure. Then we wrote a very simple program with only one KAREL statement. After that, we started to build it up by including variables. We added some statements for controlling the teach pendant screen and the cursor position. In a further version, we added the program control with a conditional branching if and if statement, and then we replaced the conditional branching with a program loop using the repeat until statements. Finally, we added more complexity by breaking down the program using a routine and formatting the greeting with the right statements. Also, I show you how to build a program and translate the source code file into a Pcode file and how to run the KAREL program on the teach pendant. Before I leave, I just want to give you a small assignment. If you can get the KAREL reference manual, try to read about all the KAREL statements we have used in this video. There is a lot of material in the reference manual with several examples that can help you to write your own programs. And finally, please leave your comments below.